The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air, every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction. Not pressure, but protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. Metafoodians unite, Metafoodians ignite, sharing love in the metazone, lighting the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Together we rise, together we inspire.
Welcome to the Planet B podcast, where truth, transformation, and faith converge. Join us as we flip the script on ecological despair, guided by Dr. Sailesh Rao's vision for a compassionate, rewilded vegan world. Let's begin the journey to the greatest transformation in human history.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to episode 17 of the Planet B podcast. Today, we'll be taking an in-depth look at the climate bathtub model. Dr. Rao, we're back again.
Yes. Thank you for doing this. Yeah, this model is something that we introduced during COP26 in Glasgow. So in Glasgow, we had several press conferences, and during one of the press conferences, we introduced the climate bathtub model. It's a realistic model for understanding how to solve climate change, right?
And that kind of ties into your quote that you started with. All models are wrong, but some are useful.
Correct, yeah. Because a model is trying to model reality. And in reality, everything is unique.
Mhm.
Every leaf is unique, every grain of sand is unique, and every molecule is unique, right? But a model just lumps things together.
Right.
Yeah. But some models are useful, meaning they explain phenomena and they explain how to solve problems. And so in systems engineering, we use models to figure out how to solve problems. You start with a simple model, and then you can add nuances to it.
Right. Which is what
So
you've done over your time of doing this research. You can see how it's evolved.
no, not only that, the climate bathtub model, right now there are only two faucets in the model, right? There's one faucet pouring water into the bathtub from the fossil fuel engine, and then
Mm.
one faucet pouring water into the bathtub from the animal agriculture sector, right? Now, when you want to create nuances, you can separate the faucets as a CO2 faucet, a methane faucet, and
Right.
nitrous oxide faucet, and so on. And you can then see which one can you turn off. When you add these nuances, it makes it possible for us to understand the solution space in more detail.
Right.
That's what I'm pointing out. So, but the initial model itself, I want people to first accept that.
Mm.
Accept that is telling us to address animal agriculture first.
So for someone who's never seen the climate bathtub model, could you give us just a high level overview of what you're showing in this picture?
Yeah, basically imagine that all life on Earth is in the form of a baby and is stuck in a bathtub that's filling up with water. That water represents the greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere. So the water is filling up through two faucets. One is from our burning machine, which is the fossil fuel engine, and one is from the killing machine, which is the animal agriculture engine. And they are the two main sources of greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. Assume half of it is coming from the burning machine, half of it is coming from the killing machine. And this is based on paper that we talked about in the last chapter. Okay, so it's half and half. And then there is a drain to the bathtub, which is clogged up. Okay? And that drains into a vegan reforestation tank, we call it. So that tank has a certain capacity. So it can hold, some amount of water. So that represents the amount of carbon that can be sequestered, or CO2 that can be sequestered in regenerating forests. Right?
Mm.
So there's a correspondence between every aspect of the model and reality. Okay? And then there is an overhead tank in the bathtub. And that overhead tank is controlled by the burning machine faucet. So if we turn off the burning machine faucet, it opens the overhead tank and lets some amount of water fall into the bathtub. Now that represents the cooling gases that we emit when we burn fossil fuels. And those cooling gases are very short-lived gases. So the cooling gases like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, ammonia, and so on. And they come from burning fossil fuels. And they only stay in the atmosphere until the next rain brings it down. So they come down in the next rain.
Oh, wow.
You get a rain within 2 to 3 weeks, it'll come down, right? So wherever the rain happens, it comes down there. If those cooling gases disappear, you're going to experience the full heating of all the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And right now, we are not experiencing the full heating of the greenhouse gases. The cooling gases are masking 1/3 to half the heating. That's how powerful the
One
cooling
third
gases.
to half.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah. That's how powerful the cooling gases are. Because what the cooling gases do is that they interact with water vapor in the atmosphere and they create reflective surfaces. Okay, so they're reflecting sunlight back.
Mm.
So this is known as albedo, reflectivity of the earth. So they're impacting the reflectivity of the earth, the cooling gases. And when you remove the cooling gases, you don't have those molecules for water vapor to condense on and form sulfuric acid or whatever that has these white fumes. And instead, you're going to have the sunlight streaming right down and heating up the planet. So that's there in the model, the climate bathtub model. So now I say you're a plumber. You're not a scientist. You're a plumber. Okay? You have to turn off these faucets and you have to drain the bathtub. How would you do that? So you can actually ask a plumber to solve the problem. And the plumber will immediately tell you, shut down that killing machine faucet and unclog the drain of the bathtub. So that
Very simple. Yeah.
And then slowly dial down the burning machine faucet so that as the water from the overhead tank falls into the bathtub, the level of water in the bathtub does not go above the limit. Because if you turn it off right away, all the water in the overhead tank will fall into the bathtub and it will drown the baby.
Through doing these podcasts, I've come to understand how the fossil fuels have this cooling effect, but when you put it in this way, this context, it's very clear how fast we would lose that cooling effect simply by turning off the burning machine.
Right. Yeah, you will lose all the cooling effects right away.
We're talking just like the first rain. Like, so if the first rain would eliminate that cooling effect, so I mean, that could literally be in one day or just as little as, like you mentioned, 2 weeks.
Right, 2 to 3 weeks. The estimate is that within 2 to 3 weeks, they will all come down if you don't emit anymore. And we did an inadvertent experiment on that in 2021. Okay, what we did in 2021 was the International Maritime Organization, which also has models for the cooling effects of sulfur dioxide and so on. And they estimated that the cooling above the ocean by burning fuel with sulfur in it was maybe 0.14 watts per square meter. That's all it's going to impact. It's very tiny. Okay, they estimate it will be very tiny. So they decreed that the sulfur content of the fuel that's burnt in ships on the open seas should be reduced to less than 1%, I think. Okay. Previously, it was you can burn anything you want,
Right.
And people are burning all kinds of junk in the open seas because it's whatever is cheap, you burn it. And so by putting that restriction, and it made sense, right? Because you don't want a lot of acid rain falling on people. Okay, because that's what sulfur dioxide emissions does. Now, their model was assuming it was linear. X amount of SO2 would cause, say, Y amount of heating, and 2x amount of SO2 will cause 2y amount of heating. They're using a linear model.
All right.
It turned out it's not linear. Okay? It turned out that SO2 molecules over a pristine ocean are way more powerful than SO2 molecules over an already polluted land. The reduction in sulfur over the ocean caused a tremendous change in the reflectivity of the atmosphere above the ocean. So it caused a tremendous change in the cloud cover.
All right.
And this is the reason why 2023 and 2024 and 2025 are the hottest years in history.
Basically, because the ships changed the fuel that they were burning, which wasn't emitting so much of those gases, it didn't have the same cooling potential. So that actually made the ocean hotter.
It made the ocean hotter, and it made the overall temperature of the Earth shoot up in 2023, 2024. Even though it
Wow.
started in 2021. The reason it took so many years is because the Earth is so big and the ocean has so much inertia. It takes time for the Earth to react to a change in heating. So you change the heating instantly, okay, within 2 to 3 weeks. In 2021, we already changed the heating. But the temperature increase takes 3 years, 3 to 4 years, to show 1/3 of that increase. So 1/3 of the increase we experienced in 2023, 2024, and so on, following that. And the next 1/3 will happen in 100 years. And the last 1/3 will happen in thousands of years.
Wow.
That's the kind of slow trajectory of the temperature increase that happens because of the inertia of the ocean. So we experienced the initial increase in temperature within 3 to 4 years. That was in 2023, 2024. And now it's going to go slowly. It's not like it's going to wait 100 years and then increase it by 1/3. It's going to keep going up, but slowly.
All right.
And then it'll keep going up for thousands of years, right? Slowly. But the good news there is, if we stop that, if we start reducing the heating on the planet, you don't have to experience it, the second 1/3 or the third 1/3. You don't have to experience that. You can bring it down.
Right.
So you can use the inertia of the ocean to our advantage. So we're not yet fully experiencing the true impact of what we have done.
Right.
Right? And that's true for all the heating that we have done. We haven't experienced all the heating that we have done. We only experienced, portions of it. And if we start cooling now, you don't have to experience the remaining. It will start cooling.
Which goes into unclogging these pipes so the water
Right.
can flow into this vegan reforestation tank. So can you share a little bit more about what exactly this vegan reforestation tank is?
Vegan reforestation tank represents the forest that can come back if the world goes vegan and restores ecosystems on the land that gets freed up from animal agriculture. So we are estimating that you can free up 40% of the ice-free land area of the planet and return it back to nature, right? As well as the entire ocean can be returned back to nature. The ocean will also sequester. Now, I didn't even include that, in my calculations, in the vegan reforestation tank. So things could be better than what I'm saying in the model. Nature has this tremendous capacity to heal if we stop burning down forests and start helping. And the model only uses what I can guarantee is going to happen. It doesn't go beyond that. Yeah?
And then this pipe basically represents all of the meat that people are eating. So by stopping eating the animal meat, we clear that pipe, and then the water can flow right into the reforestation tank.
Correct. Yeah. So that's when you stop eating animals, you free up the land, and that's the unclogging the pipe.
It's a wonderful visual. I mean, it's great because I've seen this visual before, but listening to you explain it solidifies it so much.
Yeah. Now, some people say, why did you put a baby there? Why don't you maybe put a cat or something? I don't know. some life that represents all life on Earth, right? For instance, some institutions vetoed or banned my talk because I used the baby in the picture. They say it'll offend people to know that they're drowning a baby.
What I feel like you're trying to highlight is a sense of urgency because we all love our children. So that would be the one thing that we would picture to evoke an emotional response in all of us.
Absolutely. And also it is real for our children,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It, if we just sit around doing nothing, I mean, we are going to drown and we are all going to die, right?
So you must have quite evoked an emotional response in the team that banned you because obviously they must have felt something and that's why they felt that way.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think they were also looking for an excuse to ban it because they didn't want anyone to see this, yeah. Because it's not that complicated to understand, right? The bathtub model. In fact, I presented it to my colleagues who are systems engineers, from Stanford, and one of my colleagues said, "Sailesh, don't don't keep telling us it. We know this. This is not so hard to understand. It's just that people don't want to do it. That's the problem we're facing. People don't want to do it." And I said, well, you have to know the consequences of not doing it, which is you're going to drown the baby. And once you acknowledge the consequences, then ask yourself, do you really want to do it or not?
Dr. Rao, what do you think it'll take for people to change that mindset where they'll finally have to give in to not only seeing the problem but addressing it as we know it's is through this vegan solution?
It takes puncturing of the ego. Say you are not in charge. You have not been in charge. Humans are not in charge, right? It's the human ego that needs to be punctured. Nature has always been in charge. Bow down to nature. Now, I have done this time and again because as an engineer, I bow down to nature all the time. If nature says your device is not working, it's not working. I can't say we'll pretend it's working. No, it's not working. And then you have to figure out how do you make it work. You have to come into alignment with nature to make it work. Okay, so engineers always say Mother Nature is the boss. We are just trying to figure out how to make it work within nature. And the same is true for the life support systems of the planet. We are not in charge. Nature is in charge. And nature has been using us. That's the story we need to tell. Okay, nature has been using us, and nature is telling us, you're done with this phase. Let's move on.
Do you think it's the planet A systems that are inflating the ego and masking the true solution?
Absolutely. Planet A systems were built on Francis Bacon's original statement that he wanted to use science to control nature and shake her to her foundations. Well, I'm saying you shake nature to her foundations, you're going to be rattling the teeth in your own skulls. Right? You're part of nature. So what do you mean you're shaking?
Gonna shake us right off the planet.
Right, right. So that's what this model is saying. You know what to do if you want to save the baby. Okay? Nature is showing us there is a way out. And that begins by acquiring humility.
Yeah.
And that is the spiritual and cultural transformation that we are going to be talking about in the next chapter.
I like that. That was a smooth teaser there.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Dr. Rao, is there any final words you'd like to share for episode 17, the climate bathtub model?
Yeah, it's a simple model that any school children should be able to solve. And it will tell them what they need to shut down first. So please use this model. And you're welcome to change the baby to anything else, just redraw it. But represent something that everyone would want to save. Maybe a puppy.
Very good.
And please make this common knowledge. Because I want everyone to understand that there is a way out and this is the way to do it. And it also shows that on the way out, there will be some difficulties. We are going to experience this level of heating for a while as we solve the problem.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Dr. Rao. And just to remind everyone, the climate bathtub model image, Dr. Rao's books, the research papers are all found free at climatehealers.org. So we encourage our viewers to go and explore all of this on their own. And the books have all of the citations and evidence for where all the numbers are from. So it's great education for all of us. So thank you so much, Dr. Rao. Thank you all for joining us today. We hope you join us once again for chapter 18, where we go into the need for a spiritual and cultural transformation. Have a wonderful day, and Planet B signing out. Thank you.
This has been a podcast from Planet B, where moral progress switched into high gear. If you haven't moved here yet, we thank you for visiting.
Any questions on this episode? Go ahead, Rebecca.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I invited an engineer to come. He's written a book, Navigating Our Future Challenges. And I also, but after I sent him, I wanted to send him the first paper you did on the baby bathtub model. But I noticed the numbers were different.
Mhm.
And so I wondered if you updated it due to James Hansen, or if you would explain those numbers and why they're updated, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. First of all, the amount of water in the bathtub increased because we sat around for 4 years doing nothing. So that the atmosphere built up more greenhouse gases, right? And so that's the update that happened between Glasgow and this latest one, 2021 to 2025, just 4 years of emissions. And then we increased the number in the aerosol tank because of Jim Hansen's work. Because he basically said that there is more cooling gases than we thought. Literally, the impact of the cooling gases is more powerful than we thought. So that's why that went up from 350 to 500 liters. And then the flow from the two faucets, I equalized them based on Jared Bishop's work. Basically half and half is what I'm saying. The fossil fuel engine is is putting a lot of greenhouse gases, but also putting a lot of cooling gases into the atmosphere. But roughly it's half and half is what I used.
Thank you. I don't know if you have that an image handy. I can find it and put it in the signal group. But I wonder if you could go over. I thought it was very powerful when you told us how fast the baby, or the metaphor for life on Earth, would die if we just turned off the fossil fuels, versus, if we do nothing, versus if we turn on the vegan.
Right. Now, I claim that if we turn off the fossil fuels today, if we just turn it off and do nothing else, we are doomed. Because the heating on the planet will increase, okay? Because you're going to lose all the cooling gases. The estimate is that it will go over 5 watts per square meter, the heating on the planet. Instantaneously, within 2 to 3 weeks, it'll go up to 5 watts per square meter. Now, then if you do nothing, what happens is the equilibrium temperature increase for 5 watts per square meter is 4 degrees Celsius. So the equilibrium is roughly 0.8 times the heating. It's like you turned on the oven to make it hot enough that it'll get there. But then you put water on it, and it takes time for the water to get to that temperature, right? So because the ocean is so big, it takes time for the ocean to get to that equilibrium temperature. So it takes time to heat it up. And because of that, we have some leeway to shut it down before it gets there. Because if I increase the temperature by 4 watts, by 4 degrees Celsius, life will die. right? Life will die
It's not
because it's like a fever, 4 degrees Celsius fever that the Earth has.
right. And we're not talking 200 years from now.
No, no, no. If if the temperature goes up to 4 degrees Celsius, it'll trigger a whole bunch of other nonlinear feedback loops, and then it'll keep going up and up and up. So you'll create a cascade. So I really think life will literally die out if we did that. So it's unthinkable that we would do that. As it is, we are already at 3 watts per square meter. So 3 watts per square meter, is has an equilibrium temperature increase of 2.4 degrees Celsius. We have only experienced 1.5. So there is another 0.9 degrees Celsius waiting for us if we do nothing else and just maintain it here at 3 watts per square meter. Okay, meaning it will keep going up to 2.4 degrees Celsius. But it takes time to do that. So like, it's like you turn down the cooking range, the water is there, and then you realize, oh my God, I shouldn't have turned it on. You can turn it off. The water doesn't get hot because of what you turned down before, right? It responds to the latest input. Yeah,
Okay. Good analogy. Thank you very much.
yeah. Go ahead, Brittany.
Climate heating versus climate healing curve diagram, and it was showing some levels that look like it's going past veganism. I know you said you don't know better than veganism, but it's like your graphs kind of hint at something else. Do you still think that, or do you think that maybe there is something past it? We just haven't reached that vegan singularity.
Oh, you're talking about the consciousness curves that
Yeah,
Amit showed. Well, the consciousness curves are showing that people have there are people in the middle, people on the more conscious level, and more people on the less conscious level. So you really get a bell curve of people, right? So it's the average of that civilization is at that level, at the level of in the climate heating case, it's at the level of animals are here for us to use, right? That's the average. And the consciousness shift that is shown in the diagram is about getting to a level where most of the people agree that animals should not be hurt. And we are living in an environment where we have made that a reality in our culture. Okay. And then you will have some people who are on the other extreme who have gone and who have become conscious of the entire universe, and they are saying, okay, this is what we need to take care of, that they feel responsible for maintaining the entire universe. And some people will be at the lower level. There will still be some people who will say, I want to eat animals, right? So that's what that is showing. It's actually from Jean-Francois Nobel. So he came up with those consciousness levels, and he created that bell curve we are using. Yeah.
yeah, I think I see what you're saying because the second curve is on the vegan part and shows
Right.
some stuff past it, but it's not like there's a third curve there.
No, it's saying that
Right.
if you make that the normal, you will see bell curve, people on the other side, people on this side. But you have to create a system that normalizes veganism, that normalizes compassion. Yeah, for that consciousness shift to happen. So it's sort of both ways, right? So some people have the consciousness shift already within the old model, and then they say, wait a minute, why don't we make this the normal culture? Right? And when you do that, then everyone, that becomes the new default. So you create a shift by shifting the system. Okay. Go ahead, Danny.
We have a question from CJ. Do you envisage that the human population would increase on planet B similar to the rate it is growing now. Is that sustainable?
Oh, no, I don't envisage that at all because it's growing on planet A because growth is the primary objective on planet A. Growth is the master objective on planet A. Okay? Everybody wants to grow their economy. Everything needs to grow. Every corporation wants to grow. Everybody wants to grow. And that's why population also grows because that's the cheap way of growing. You just have more mouths or more hands to go and extract for you. And as long as there is, there is incentive for that, that's what's going to happen. On planet B, growth is not the major objective. Okay, so that's not an objective. If growth happens, it's an outcome. It's not an objective. And when you have a system like that and people feel secure, we're already seeing evidence. When people feel secure, they have less kids compared to even replacement levels. And population comes down, right? So there are lots of countries where population is decreasing, and then they are desperately then giving incentives to people to have more kids because they don't have anyone to take care of the elderly, right? But if you look at it from a global perspective, and if everyone is taken care of automatically by the system, then population will automatically start decreasing over time. And it'll reach an equilibrium roughly, I think the planet can support maybe 1/3 or 1/4 of our current population levels on an infinite basis, forever. Right now, she's not only supporting our population, she's also supporting all the animals we bring into the world. And still, she's maintaining the life support systems precariously. So as soon as we stop bringing the animals into this world, it'll be a sigh of relief for the life support systems. And every one of them is going to start improving. And so temporarily, she can support our current human population. That's what I'm claiming. And therefore, you don't have to wait for a nuclear war to kill off so many billion people and then start. Right? So this is how we always do things on planet A. Wait for a war to kill everything off and then rebuild properly. Rebuild a different system.
And war is a moneymaker too.
Yeah, this is why it's, everything in the current system is moving towards a nuclear war. Right? The drumbeats of war is already happening. You can see that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we have to, push for our system transformation before all that happens, because you don't need that. Because that's how the system on planet A is designed. If you want to grow, at some point you have to just destroy a whole bunch and then rebuild. And everything is a growth activity. Even destroying is a growth activity. Everybody gets employed in going and fighting in a war. So that's the standard algorithm they use for continuing to grow. So First World War, Second World War, they're all part of the same growth mechanism. Growth as the master objective. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah. Rebecca, you're right. I mean, the US, the government is encouraging increased birth rates among some people, not among all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Some other people, they have to lead, right? Because they're creating a completely, pure world for themselves.
Right. Yeah.
This is the kind of nonsense we have to get over, right? We have to say, okay, we are done with that mode of thinking, we're not going to go back to that.
Right. Right. And I see that Barb has a question, but at some point I wonder if you want to say something about a paper you just wrote, an invitation to engineers. I just saw that a couple of hours ago. But I see Bob
Yeah,
has a
yeah, thank
question.
you. Yeah.
It was, yeah, it was a great invitation.
Yeah, I'll read that later if you're interested.
Yes, yes.
Barb?
All I had to say really is I was wondering whether people can take like little clips from these lessons that we're getting here,
Mm.
and because when you were talking about the the planet and the one third or one fourth and how much that whole section was so good. I kept thinking that needs to be a little video by itself too, like breaking up into little subject matters and these
Mhm.
answers. And so I kept thinking, boy, the more of those things get out and get spread around, the better.
Yeah, that's our intent. With this content that we are creating, we want to just put it out
Mhm.
as podcasts, you know, like 2 a week, because otherwise it's overwhelming. You're getting one a day as we are
Yeah,
creating it, right? And it's
right.
overwhelming for people. So we need to put it in bite-sized chunks and then split it up and so that people understand little nuances of what's going on. Because it's not that hard to understand once you distill it down.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually not mine. That's actually Jim Hanson's work. I mean, Jim Hansen was the one who said, the time constants are such that you get one third in a few years, one third in 100 years, and the next last one third in 1,000 years. So if you look at the exponential curve, the response of the Earth to an increase in heating, it goes like that. It's initially fast and then slows down and then slows down really fast a lot.
You know what? Actually, I was talking about the population, how one third or one fourth is the sustainable amount of the population.
Mm.
You know me, I'm taking little notes and they're half sentences here, so it's like then I'm trying to recreate what you had said, and it was about that section about the population
Oh, the
that I
population
was,
section. Now,
yeah.
I mean, I'm, that's based on carrying capacity. Now,
Mhm.
carrying capacity is based on equilibrium, ecosystem equilibrium. So equilibrium meaning it's stabilized and it's going to stay there forever. It can stay there for the foreseeable future.
I
Now, if
loved
you look
hearing
at
that.
when you look at the biomass of wild animals that were there 10,000 years ago, when human activity was not, it had already reached a stable state and human activity had not impacted it by much, that biomass was roughly half the biomass of all the humans that are living today. Okay. So our weight alone is roughly double the weight of all the wild animals that lived 10,000 years ago. So this is why this cannot be our equilibrium biomass.
Mhm. I
We
get
we are already eating way more than the planet can sustain forever, right? So our waste alone will be hard for it to process. Okay? But but temporarily we have to rebuild the planet. So we need all this waste. So we have to rebuild the soil and so on. So,
oh,
so I think that nature is the perfect system design. So the right amount of people are here, and all we have to do is to stop bringing animals into the world. These
mhm.
farmed animals, we are bringing them into the world, and then reorient our mindset towards bringing the wildlife back,
Yes, that's
right?
good.
And
Mhm.
that becomes our objective function in the system. And once we bring the wildlife back, over time, our population will automatically decline. And and I think we'll integrate into the ecosystems of the planet properly
Mhm.
at the right levels.
Super.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful system, isn't it? So I'm in awe of nature as a system designer. And I say we are part of nature and we have been doing our role in it. sometimes unknowingly, and now it has to become more of a conscious decision. So we have to consciously choose not to go to World War III. It's like, is this even a question we need to ask, right? Not to do World War III, and instead focus on building these new systems that work for everybody. That's the Planet B model that I'm offering here.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you. If there are no more questions, then Rebecca, maybe we can start with Reverend Bethlove. Welcome, Reverend.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome.
Thanks. So lovely to be here. I've missed everybody. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you want to eat tasty food that's good for you, good for the earth, and good for all life kind. One thumb up. All right. I know I can't see anybody, but I see you, Barb. And give me two thumbs up if you want this tasty vegan food that's healthy and nurturing and good for all life to be available and accessible and used by everyone all over the world. Two thumbs up. All right, so we know that we're in the right place because we're at the vegan convergence of the people, the place where we are conspiring together to bring about this vegan world. And I'm so very grateful to be here. My name is Reverend Chef Beth Love. I'm the founder and executive director of Eat for the Earth, which is a nonprofit organization that makes it easier for people to eat more plants and less animal products to sustain all life on Earth. Our ask is a reducitarian ask because we want everybody to feel like they can be part of the solution, even if in their mind right now they'll never be vegan. But what we teach, model, and serve is 100% whole food plant-based. Today, I'm here with a colleague to share about a powerful project that we are doing that has the potential to support thousands and thousands of people in moving to or towards a fully plant-based diet. She's going to share a little bit about one of our programs. We have a lot of programs, but she's going to share about one of our very effective programs, and then I will take it over from there. So I'm here with Dr. Maria Jose Hummel, my colleague. She's going to share about a very effective plant-based immersion program, and then I'll let you know about a project that will greatly amplify our impact through replication in other places. I want to start by introducing Maria Jose, my colleague, my friend, my soul sister. She already has multiple advanced degrees in subjects related to human health and nutrition, and she's now enrolled at Loma Linda University, getting her Doctor of Public Health as well. It'll be her third doctoral degree, and I'm just delighted to work with her and want to turn it over to you right now, Dr. Maria Jose Hummel.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you
think
so
you'll have to
much.
share.
Yes, I will be sharing a little bit of a PowerPoint, and thank you and good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be with you for the first time. This is my first time being here, so it's a great pleasure. And I will share my PowerPoint if you don't mind. I will go ahead and start that. And let me just adjust my, hold on one second. Let me just adjust my presentation real quick because I do like to do this. It's a special way that I do it. It's my own little thing. Okay, here we go. And so, as Beth said, we do have a program that we run, and it's called Salud en tu Plato in Spanish and Community RX in English. So the original name was Community RX, but that was hard to translate. So we went ahead and called it Salud en tu Plato, which makes more sense in Spanish. And it is a nutrition education, and it's a diet intervention program where we take groups of people and we give them a whole food plant-based diet for 10 days. And at the beginning of the program, we give them we actually we do a pre and post biometric test. And so a program normally is 3 Sundays in a row. And so the first Sunday, we do these biometric tests. And so what we do is that we measure their fasting glucose, lipid panel, blood pressure, height, weight, and BMI. And so they come fasted. And so at the end of this test, we serve them a breakfast, which is a plant-based whole food breakfast. And maybe for the first time, they try this kind of food. No oil, no sugar, no salt even. But since our director is a chef and she just cooks the best food in the world, people don't even notice that it's no salt, no oil, no sugar because it's so delicious. And then also we give them a menu with recipes for whole food plant-based. I personally call this a challenge, a 10-day challenge, so that people are not intimidated by the fact that this might be a whole new way of eating. So I tell them, you can do anything for 10 days. Most of these people already have some kind of metabolic condition that actually improves dramatically with this kind of food. So we give them a little bit of counseling after this biometric testing. So it's either I or our medical director, who's a physician. And so sometimes we have other people also, but it's either her or I usually who give each person a personalized nutrition counseling where we talk about how this kind of food actually helps lower these numbers. And so we talk a little bit about the food as well. We tell them that during the 10 days they will get some more information. They actually get some text every day with videos. And so at the end of the program, the second Sunday is a class, and the last Sunday we do again this biometric testing so that they do see the before and then compared to after. And it usually is some dramatic results. It varies person to person. Some people don't actually do much of change at all. They're pretty skeptical, but some people actually do follow it. And so we have our averages, which includes everyone. And so I'll just show you right now for our last fiscal year what our average results were. Our total cholesterol drop in 10 days was 7%. Our first year was actually better, was 20%. So it varies year to year. We've only done it for 2 years, so we don't know we don't have enough data to see for many, many years what the actual variation from year to year would be. But our LDL drop last year was 6.5%. Triglycerides were 9%, and glucose was 4%. But like I said, our variation from year to year, we don't know. We actually get a lot better results some months. So I just want to show you actually last month, just to show you what the potential is actually. So our last month, our last round, I should say, November, December, because it went over from November to December, is against 3 weeks. But I just wanted to show you just one example of some months that we do actually really, really, really extremely good. So it just depends, the group, it just depends, and it just varies from month to month. So last group, our average drop on total cholesterol, sorry, this was just a screenshot, so I just wanted to show you really quick. So our drop for total cholesterol was 19.6%. The LDL average for the whole group was 19.4%. Non-HDL, which is another way to measure sort of all of the bad cholesterol, if you will, was 23.2%. And triglycerides, this is the first time we get this high number for the average. I mean, I've seen people who drop more than 30%. Honestly, we have one gentleman actually in this last group who went from above 500. Our device is a small device. I think I showed you. It's a small little device. We don't have a lab. So if the person's triglycerides are above 500, our little device doesn't measure it. So this one person in our group had above 500. And so we don't know how high it really was. It's just above 500. And the last Sunday, his triglycerides were 94. So that probably skewed these numbers. We don't know actually. His numbers weren't even in this. Actually, weren't even counted here, because we don't know how high his numbers were in the first Sunday. But I just wanted to show you this remarkable example of how much triglycerides can come down. So we know that food is medicine. In fact, we have, maybe Beth will tell you more about our yearly conference for healthcare providers called Food is Medicine. But we know that the same diet that can heal the planet can heal people. And so I'm very passionate, obviously, about our program. But I just wanted to share with you, this is what we do. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Maria Jose. Maybe you could share one or two stories of some participants, briefly share about,
Yeah, so I shared again about one of our
stories.
participants last round that his triglycerides went down dramatically from above 500 to 94. His whole family actually, their lipids were all high. And the wife also, two daughters, everybody had high lipids. One of the daughters did not do the program, but the other daughter did. And everybody, the whole family at the end of the program, they all had like normal lipids or normal cholesterol anyway. And of course, we have one of our star participants who has done the program 12 times. We encourage our participants to repeat as many times as they want, but we've only had like one participant who's done it like 12 times. And that's fine because he's been one of our best advertisers for our program because he's brought he came with his mom the first time and she's done it like 10 times. But he also has brought all his siblings and, even in-laws. And he's dropped about 95 pounds in the 2 years he's done the program. And he stopped taking 2 cholesterol medications because his doctor said, you don't need your cholesterol medication anymore. And so all his numbers have come to pretty close to normal as far as his lipids. So, and also his mother, who's 87, stopped taking her cholesterol and her blood pressure medication. Her blood pressure medication she'd been taking for 40 years. So it's just remarkable the kind of results that we have been and outcomes we have been getting with this wonderful program. That's why we want the healthcare providers in the area to know that this is the kind of outcomes people can get, because we know that some of the healthcare providers in the area, we know healthcare providers in general sometimes get a little bit frustrated that with this kind of metabolic disease, they can just manage it. Usually it's not a reversal kind of thing that you can get with regular medications. It's just management. But food is medicine, and it's kind of medicine that you can actually sometimes even reverse these kinds of metabolic diseases.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so it's pretty inspiring, right? We think it's pretty inspiring. I think you probably do too. So one of the things that makes our program so powerful is that it can be structured to support both individual and dietary and systems change. And moving toward a vegan world, of course, both of those are important. So one other thing that's really critical in terms of the success of both the program and also supporting the outcome of systems change is our partnerships. We partner with healthcare providers, including clinics. We partner with churches, nonprofits, a number of different partners, and that really amplifies our work. One of the partnerships that I think really exemplifies the potency of our approach is a collaboration with a clinic called Salud para la Gente. This is a federally qualified healthcare center, which means that it serves low-income people. The patient population is primarily Spanish-speaking Latinos with low incomes, and we've been working with them for 3 years now, just about 3 years. And their clinicians refer patients to our program. The organization also provides us with space to hold these sessions. And the clinic setting adds credibility for our population. And in particular, there may be other populations as well, but with the population that we primarily work with, Latinos, the fact that a doctor is telling them, go check out this program, and that we're meeting in a clinic and they're coming and getting their biometrics done in a clinic, that really puts an onus on the program. It puts an aura on the program of respectability that makes people maybe more compliant than they would be otherwise. And we're also able to engage employees when we're there. We'll have our food spread out and our participants are eating food. And if there's If there's plenty, we usually invite the clinic staff to come and try it, and they're kind of shocked. We quite frequently have clinic staff think we're serving eggs, and they're shocked to find that it's scrambled tofu. So that it's like it's opening the minds of people who are working in a healthcare center. And then also they'll ask questions about the program. We'll tell them about our outcomes, and so then it grows the pool of people who are referring people to a plant-based diet, essentially. And recently, there's been some additional collaboration. They were a sponsor last year for the Food as Medicine conference that Maria Jose mentioned. This conference last year, 85% of the healthcare providers that came to our one-day conference, after it was over on the survey, they wrote that they would be recommending plant-based diets for their patients. So we feel like this is a really powerful way to shift the needle, given that healthcare providers are the ones that people go to when they have a problem with their health. It's really incumbent on us as activists to make sure that healthcare providers know about the power of plant-based diets to heal, because they want to heal their patients. They don't want to just keep managing disease. You can see how this partnership with the health clinic is very powerful. There's other advantages to partnering with a church or partnering with a nonprofit. There's also strengths there. Another of the aspects of our program that makes it really effective is that it's designed to be culturally relevant for our target population. There's a number of other additional strengths, and there's just a few of them here on this screen. Multiple touch points. We have daily texts for 10 days. They're getting daily texts, and also weekly calls. The 3 in-person meetings. They can also contact us if they have questions in between. So just kind of it's a fairly intensive wraparound service, if you will. Also, we use varied modalities. So people are if they can learn through a video, we have videos for them, or we have handouts, things like that. Sorry, I did not mean to put that in front of my face. So it's there's a number of reasons why this program is really strong. And whenever we share about the program, people are inspired. Maria Jose in particular speaks frequently all around the United States and Latin America, and people in other areas want the program. With our support, one of our colleagues recently offered a very successful similar program in Salt Lake City at his gym, and he helped 27 gym members leave their paleo diet behind. We're now also helping 2 colleagues who are creating a similar program in New Orleans. So right now we're just giving the support that we can, but the project that we're bringing to you today that we'd love your support and collaboration with is a comprehensive replication package. We want to be able to, when Maria Jose travels, when we go speak at conferences, we want to be able to have a package that's very comprehensive that anybody can take and know what to do and be able to follow through on creating and replicating and maintaining this program in other areas over time. So I'm going to go quickly through the package contents. There is a manual that we will be putting together, which will have comprehensive instructions from start to finish, how to do everything we've learned over the last 3 years. Tools and apps. There will be the content in Spanish and English of the daily texts, sample scripts for the enrollment calls, as well as the mentor calls, again in Spanish and English forms, guidance, partnership information, etc. Then there's the meal plans and recipes for the participants in English and Spanish. The one in Spanish will be culturally relevant recipes for at least for the population that we serve, which is primarily of Mexican origin. Then there will also be one that's more kind of a varied, different, like an American approach where you have a little bit of meals from all different kinds of cuisines. And then we'll have access to the short daily educational videos and some food demo videos. We have a very comprehensive nutrition class, as Maria Jose pointed out, that she teaches that's geared toward metabolic conditions that most of our participants have, diabetes or insulin resistance, high blood pressure, etc. But we'll also include breakfast menus for the testing dates. So when people come, We like to give a really bountiful spread so that people go into this situation not feeling like they're going to be deprived, but feeling like there's lots of options and it's very abundant. And we'll be able to provide these menus with shopping lists that are spreadsheets, so you can easily just update a cell to say you're going to have 10 participants or 20 participants or whatever, and it'll update all the quantities in the shopping list. We'll also have participant handouts, and there's a really cool, we're partnering with a woman who's developed an app, a very amazing electronic medical records app that has a lifestyle medicine component. So people can access their own biometric data, and we can also access it. And then they can also have lifestyle prescriptions, like dietary prescriptions, and there's a way for them to keep a diary of what they're eating. So it's an optional add-on. So we'd love to have your help. There's basically two things that we're really needing. One of them is funding. Right now, Maria Jose and I will be the two that are creating this replication package, and we already are working beyond what's humanly possible most of the time, beyond our capacity, like I'm sure others on this call are as well. And so what we'll be doing is we'll be needing some funding to pay some people to take some of our responsibilities, our normal responsibilities, so that we can free up a chunk of time over the next 6 months to develop this package and get it all together. So that's kind of one of the big things we need. We figure it will cost about $50,000 for us to get it done, because it's going to take about 6 months. And we also will need, after that, some money to do some promotions. Maria Jose has so many contacts that a lot of the promotions will happen naturally, but we really want to take advantage of the potency of healthcare providers having this kind of information. So we intend to table at some of the big conferences, like the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and the Plantrician Project, and those booths are very, very pricey. And then the other thing we need is people to request replication. So if you saw this presentation, you thought, gosh, I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that in my area. Here's the population I'd like to adapt the curriculum to be a good match for. And here's about how many people I think I can help. Let us know, because this is really important information for us to be able to share with funders. Recently, we were in a conversation with a funder, and they wanted me to give a specific number of how many people they could reach. And I wished that I had the names of a couple people. We have, as I mentioned, we've supported a couple of replication projects, but without being able to say, well, I'm pretty certain we can do 20 or 10 or 100 or whatever it is. It's just really helpful data for us to have if you think you might like to do it. And then we're also open to people's ideas if you have ideas for us. We will put I'll put our contact information in the chat so that you can, if you'd like to partner with us in this way or another way, you can get a hold of us. And I'll also put our website in the chat. You could also get it with this QR code. We like to leave as much time as possible for questions, so I'm going to open it up for questions now.
There is a question right now. CH.
Oh, there it is. Danny?
Yeah, hi, Reverend Beth.
Hi, Danny. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Have you reached out to any of the crowdfunding sources for fundraising?
I'm sorry, I missed the crowdfunding platforms.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
We have not used any of the major crowdfunding platforms. There's a local Santa Cruz Gives campaign that we do every year that we get selected, but we have not used any of those kinds. That's a great suggestion. But we are also working on a documentary movie, and when we're ready to, and when we have the preview ready for that, then we'd like to definitely do some crowdfunding for that.
Cool. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Danny. Brittany?
I was thinking maybe it would be hospitals that might provide some funding for some programs or something, even probably college campuses. I think with college, you probably wouldn't get as much funding. I was wondering if you're willing to get help in other ways that is not just funding, like putting together some of these packages that you're talking about, and also with information in it and everything, or whatever else is needed.
Absolutely. We use volunteers all the time. We have a ton of volunteers. And if you're interested, I just put my contact information in the chat. You can send me an email or call me up and we'd be happy to use your support. We have lots and lots of volunteers and we rely on, that's one of the reasons we're able to get as much done as we do. Thanks, Brittany.
I had a follow-up. Do you have anything on any website or anywhere that explains what kind of help you need?
Yes, we have a, let me grab that link and I'll put it in the chat. We use signup.com and we have, a lot of our work is in person, but there is I'm going to put just the general link in the chat for our sign up page. And when you go there, you'll see a number of different, they call them signups. The one that's called remote possibilities, if you click on that, it has some of our remote possibilities. And thank you. Rebecca, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I'm just so thrilled that you came this evening. I have some of my friends here who serve food with food healers and the vegan friendlies, and so I'm just thrilled that you're here. Now, one of the things I get is a newsletter, and I wonder if you would, my friends might like to be on that newsletter, or do you mind? I know it's mostly for local, but it's one of the things that inspires me. And so I wonder if you would like for people to get on that newsletter.
Sure. Let me go grab that link. I'm putting Maria Jose's email in that, let me go grab that link. And yeah, if people want to be in the newsletter, I try to make it interesting for people that are not local. There's a lot of information about what's going on locally, but I put recipes in sometimes. And then like the last one, I had I think a pretty good piece on the new dietary guidelines. So I try to make there at least be one thing in there every time that is of relevance to people remotely. And occasionally we have online classes, cooking classes, but we haven't done much of that lately. But yeah, I'll grab that link and put that in the chat as well. Willow, it looks like you have a question.
Yes, I am also delighted to be watching this presentation. I live close to Rebecca, and so we both, do food healers. What I'm doing now is I've contacted two reverends at this Buen Pastor, this small church, and they're interested in educating the community, the women or the people that come in for the food pantry. So we want to start serving the meals that Food Healers does, but the Reverend is very interested in offering classes. And so I just contacted Austin, which is not far from San Marcos, where we live. And they are excited about providing 6 weeks, once a week classes. And they do it for free, and they'll bring fresh food products. But the problem, even though it's it's called the Food Sustainability Center. But on their curriculum, the third class focuses on protein as cooking with meat and calcium cooking with dairy. And so I wrote her, a letter saying, could we talk about changing that part? And so far, she did reply saying, her reply was, we want to different peoples have different cultures, so we want to get, so they're into this culture thing, and that's all she really replied. But I am looking forward. I'm hearing here that you are working on these classes, and you're going to maybe videotape them. I'm looking forward in seeing you and Maria Jose. Hola, Maria Jose. And seeing you two provide videos, educational videos for educators, so that
Right.
the few handful of volunteers that we have here, which is very limited, we can start, preparing according to the curriculum that you're presenting, and that's what I see. I see a growth in folks volunteering to go to these churches, go to wherever, and have these classes. This El Buen Pastor, serves low income, mostly women coming to the pantry, but they get canned goods, and we want to change that. We want them to be excited about cooking, and this thing about meat and dairy. I'll be talking to her some more because there are alternatives, and I think that from what everything Dr. Rao says is that we need to just cut down. We need to really, and yet these giant state-funded programs are still including meat in there, and so if we can just us, because I don't know if I can get that bureaucracy to change and remove the meat out of there, as much of an emergency that we're sitting on. So let's us learn, vegan folks,
Yeah.
on how to present this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Willow. Yeah, so Maria Jose, I'm going to invite you to put your are some of the people Spanish speakers, Willow? Anyway, Maria Jose, why don't you put both your websites in the chat? So we are putting together, specifically this replication package, and it will have videos with the foods that we're, food demo videos, as well as a nutrition lesson that we have. But Maria Jose also has her own websites, one in Spanish and one in English. And she has a lot of content on there. She's got a YouTube channel with a ton of followers. Please put all your info, put your YouTube channel in there too. So for educational purposes, this is a great resource. Willow, if you want, reach out to us, let us, send us an email, and we'll see what we can do to support you, because we want to be supportive of your efforts as well. Dr. Rao, you had a question?
Yeah, my question has to do with the public health implications of interventions like what you're doing compared to the dietary recommendations changes. So is there a model?
Okay, so I am going to ask Maria Jose to take that question, since she's the one that's getting her doctor of public health. I mean, I have a lot of information and ideas to talk about. But yeah, I'd love to have Maria Jose.
What was the question?
answer the
I was
question.
distracted with my website. What was the question?
The question has to do with the public health implications of interventions like what you are doing compared to changing the dietary recommendations. The changes that happen will have public health implications also. Is there a model for public health that we can just plug these things into and see what they do?
Well, I mean, I'm part of the School of Public Health at Loma Linda University right now, so there's all kinds of public health models that we work with. So, in fact, I would like to use what we are doing now as a project eventually, and publish the data for the project that we're doing, and even like to use it as a some kind of public health program that can be then published on, because there has been, of course, the Adventist health study that talks about how the vegan diet compares to the other vegetarian diets, and of course to the people who ate a meat diet, and as you go down in the amount of animal products in the diet, the vegan diet compares most favorably to all of the other diets. And then, as I was going into the data of the Adventist health study, I did find that there are some Latinos in California in the Adventist health data that we can use then to as a literature review for our own program. Then, because there is not enough data on Latinos for what we're doing, that definitely there's not enough research done. So that is a research question that has not been answered. So that's definitely a gap in the literature. So that's what we can use as a starting point to say there's a gap. There's not enough information here, especially for Latinos. There's more definitely that has been done in other ethnicities, particularly with African Americans, but not with Latinos, and how Latinos can use a plant-based diet. There has been only like 2 studies that have shown that Latinos can reduce their A1C using a plant-based diet. One study that I know of. And there's another study that showed that Latinos can lower their BMI with a plant-based diet. That's it. And so there's a huge gap in the literature as far as this is public health information, that there's a gap, there's nothing there, so somebody needs to go back in and say, we need to do more studies to show that in other ethnicities, even, maybe people with a predisposition, because I think all ethnic minorities have already a predisposition to these metabolic conditions. I mean, when I worked for Salud para la Gente, anybody who was an ethnic minority automatically was considered at a higher risk for diabetes, for instance. When we worked with women with gestational diabetes, you automatically considered them at a higher risk for diabetes because they were part of a minority. And so, given that information, then how do we help people with it? And now that maybe we're going to see millions of people with less access to healthcare providers because they might not have maybe access to health insurance. So now there's might be even more need. Somebody says Pacific Islanders. Absolutely,
Right.
Pacific Islanders. So there's so many minorities that are at a higher risk for these metabolic conditions, particularly in insulin resistance. So that needs to be addressed at a population level.
Right.
Specifically, Maria Jose, he was asking about the current dietary guidelines that just got adopted on January 7th. Like how do we think that is going to, what kind of public health implications does that have compared to our model?
It's upside down, literally in many ways.
I
mean, it's literally upside down.
Not like Planet B, though.
More way than one, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, so many people have already commented on the fact that even if you follow, like the narrative in the guidelines say, okay, try not to eat more than 10% saturated fat. But then on the other side, they say, oh, and also eat more meat and consume more whole milk. Okay, you can't do both at the same time. You can't, because if you consume more red meat and drink whole milk, you're not going to be able to adhere to the 10% saturated fat. You can't do both. So they're contradicting themselves. The good thing is that most people don't follow the guidelines, but at the same time, these guidelines are used for many programs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Many programs that are government funded. So that will have consequences for the population. So yeah, that's going to have negative consequences for sure. So how do we try to address that and try to make up for that?
Now, you mentioned that ethnic minorities have a predisposition, they assume they have a predisposition to all these chronic diseases.
Yes.
Is that correlated with the fact that ethnic minorities cannot digest lactose and yet they are being given milk in schools to begin with?
Yes. Yes. That is a factor. I think that's a fact. I mean, I don't know if correlation is causation in this particular case, but it's correlated. Definitely correlated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. I put a link in the chat. There was actually, I don't know if people know the Viva Longevity YouTube channel. It used to be called Plant Chompers, and they came out and did a video of our program, and they compared it to a diabetes. They called our program a diabetes reversal program, which it's more than that, but we do have a lot of people reverse their diabetes with the program, and they compared it to a company called Virta and their program. And it turns out that one of the Virta employees was on the review panel that the administration chose to make up some really bad guidelines. But the Virta program, that people have to pay a lot of money to get this program, and it's a diabetes reversal program that uses I think it's a keto approach. And so you can see the public health implications in just a small sample size if you look at that video and you see the Virta program compared to ours. They're not helping people heal, and we are. So it does have significant public health implications. And I see, Barb, you have a question.
I have a comment because I know that PCRM, they are going to be suing the government about those dietary guidelines. I was so thrilled to see that, and they're asking for a review. I didn't get a chance to read all the details, but I was just happy to see that they're going to at least call things into question and put some attention on the fact that, this needs reviewing. This is not right.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll get changed. I doubt it, but it would be nice if it would. You never know.
Yeah, they sue pretty much every time, which is really, I mean, it's one of the wonderful things they do is they use the power of lawsuits to bring about change. One of the things that was really disappointing this year for people who don't follow the dietary guidelines situation is that the process is supposed to be that a panel of experts that are really experts and that are not biased with conflicts of interest meets for a long period of time, and in this case 22 months, to create a report that is supposed to be the foundation for the adoption of the dietary guidelines for Americans. And the administration decided to throw out the work of this committee, and this was the best report we have ever gotten. They're always good. They go all the way back to 1987 and the McGovern Commission. They've always said eat less meat and more plants, less dairy products. But this one was the best, where they were saying that the best protein source is legumes, peas, beans, lentils, and that after that, second best is nuts and seeds, and third best is fish, and then there's the meat. So the dietary guidelines advisory committee came up with really strong guidelines, and then the administration decided to ignore them because there was an equity focus. And so they decided that because it had an equity focus, which don't we want the people who have the least access to good health to have access to good health, but because it had an equity focus, I mean, that was just the language they used. Obviously, right. they were gonna. And so then the committee that they composed to write the guidelines, 7 of the 9 had conflicts of interest: National Cattlemen's Beef Association, National Pork Association, National Dairy Council, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. The usual crew.
Yeah. So how could you have unbiased guidelines when that's who was forming it?
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Barb. It looks like Danny has a question.
My question was I was going to ask for Margaret, but I believe Maria Jose showed a picture of a plate, and maybe you want to just give a second to describe what's on that plate. What a
Sure.
plate.
So
Yeah. Thank you.
no, it's a great question, because I actually had to work with the ADA plate for many years. So the American Diabetes Association is the plate that the government worked for many years, and it's the one that has half vegetables. So that's a great improvement from what they used previously, which was the pyramid, and it's kind of confusing for a lot of people. So half your plate with vegetables, great improvement. On the other half, you have the carbohydrates and then the proteins. And when we worked with people, I kind of was forced to tell people the proteins, you know, you have to use lean proteins, which it usually means chicken, fish, take the skin off the chicken, that kind of thing. But when I was working with gestational diabetes women, and even just regular diabetes type 2, I would tell them, you know what, just you know, for the protein, just put legumes, tofu, whatever, tempeh, put plant proteins. And in the carbs, what the ADA would say for the carbs, the fourth of the plate that's carbs, they would say at least half whole grains. And I'm like, why half? Just put all of it whole grains. You know, why half? So that's what I put there. And I actually had someone make that plate for me. I hired a graphics person. And so what I had them put is high fiber carbohydrates. So just all of your carbs should be high fiber. Why half? Why even put white rice or something? There's no need. And then the other quarter of the plate would be high protein or high fiber proteins. So there's your legumes like beans, lentils, chickpeas, that kind of thing. They provide protein. Tofu provides protein. Tempeh provides protein. So these are your plant proteins. And so anyway, I would let the women know that you can eat all plants. And then I got yelled at because I wasn't following the ADA diet. And I'm like, well, why don't we just compare outcomes? You know, let's have the ladies who eat this plate, compared with the ladies who eat the other plate. And then I was told, no, we don't go by outcomes. Why? Why not? No, because this is a government-funded program, so we don't go by outcomes. So there you go. We don't go by outcomes. We go by what the government says you have to do. So anyway, but the ladies, my point is, the ladies who were following the whole food plant-based diet were doing way better, because when you do gestational diabetes, they have to write down 4 times a day their glucose level. So fasted, and then 1 hour after each meal. So I knew for a fact that the ladies who were doing the whole food plant-based diet were doing better. For a fact. That's why I said, let's compare. Let's just see side by side which ones were doing better. And I knew for a fact they were doing better. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that.
Question on high fiber carbohydrates. Corn, which is
corn is fine. Like corn on the cob, that's just your natural corn.
But it usually doesn't break down, does it? I mean, it comes kind of directly out of your system.
Well, that means that you didn't absorb much of the calories from that.
Okay. You have potatoes there?
Potatoes. Now, keep in mind that sweet potatoes have a lower glycemic index, meaning they will actually help you not to have high sugars after eating them. So between the potatoes and the sweet potatoes, actually sweet potatoes is a better choice.
Right.
Go figure.
Okay.
But if you're gonna eat potatoes, eat them with skin is even a better choice.
Mm-hmm. And then I see some white slices. What's that?
Oh, I think
I want to interrupt a second because I want to interrupt a second because I think that someone else is presenting at 7:30. Am I correct? I think so. So, Danny, why don't you write us, because we want to help. We love to help. So I put our email addresses earlier. I just want to say that I put those plates in because we're at a Climate Healers event, and governments around the world are recognizing not only the nutritional reasons to reduce animal products and increase plant products, but also the environmental reasons. So I put 5 of the plates from governments around the world that have very, very small amounts of animal products on them and suggest water as the drink of choice. This is what our guidelines should look like. Mexico's probably have the smallest percentage, about 8% from animals. So it's doubly disappointing that our government is not doing what others are doing. But thank you so much for your time, everybody, and really, really enjoyed connecting. Am I right that we're supposed to be ending now?
You may, if you'd like. Our other speaker went ahead this morning.
Oh, they went this morning. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm like trying to Okay, so if you don't have another speaker, we're happy to take other questions if there are any questions.
There is another question.
Barb, you've got your hand raised, I see, and then we've got one other person.
Well, mine, this is more like just a curiosity type thing because we're examining these plates and all. And the one thing that I eat that is not whole grain is pasta, like especially spaghetti, because I love the white noodles and I don't really care for the whole wheat noodles that much. But to try to make up for that, our spaghetti has like big whole mushrooms and green pepper and onions. And then I also have in the cupboard, I have from that Rob's Whole Mill or whatever the name of that brand is. I have both wheat germ and I have wheat bran. And it's in little small form, you know. And so I'll put a little bit of that over the spaghetti and I'll think, well, maybe I pretty much, you know, got it up to where it needed to be. You know, I'm just like doing the best I can with that because I love my pasta. That's all
Have you
there is
ever
to
tried
it.
brown rice pasta? Have you ever tried brown rice?
In
It's not nearly as,
general,
it's,
yeah,
you don't like it either.
I don't think I've tried the brown rice pasta, but a lot of the like the rice crackers and a lot of the things with rice, yeah, I have not been a
Okay.
fan.
I'm just finding
Yeah.
that it's less coarse than the whole wheat, and the corn and quinoa pasta is also closer to white.
Oh, okay.
Brittany, it looks like you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to say I sent an email to see if you were able to receive it to get the ball rolling, you know?
Let me see. You sent it to
Yeah.
me or you sent it to Maria Jose?
I think I sent it to you.
I'm not seeing it. Let me check and make sure that I put the email correct in the chat.
Starts with Hawaii.
And I'm sorry, Barb, did I cut you off? Did you want Maria Jose to comment on your wheat germ enhancement?
If you have any suggestions or anything, or if you see anything that maybe I'm still lacking, or you know.
I tell people to try the like Brittany said, the pastas made with legumes like
Oh, okay.
chickpea, and those are great.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like those because I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just me. I've gotten used to them. Like I like the texture. But yeah, chickpea pasta, those are great. But yeah, maybe try them. See if what you think.
Okay.
Honestly, for
I
me, I
will.
went little by little off of the regular pasta and I just would mix them up so that it wouldn't be like a shock. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't be like, I kind of would mix them up so that it would be a great change all of a sudden. But having said that, I think pasta by itself, like it's a lower glycemic index like than bread, for instance. So even regular pasta is not as high glycemic index. But if you can try something else, it would be good too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give the chickpea one a try. That sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Should we turn it over to you, Dr. Rao? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much for your work. I find that the lifestyle medicine work that's being done to heal individuals is much more advanced than the lifestyle engineering work that needs to be done to heal the planet. And that's why I wrote that open letter to engineers, asking them to come forward. And we need to create like maybe the initial conference on lifestyle engineering or whatever you want to call that new field, where we are considering that we are living on a finite planet, because engineers are assuming that we are living on an infinite planet. And that's how we are all taught. So I thought I would just close with this open letter to engineers that I wrote. And let me see if I can share that. So this is the open letter to engineers. So we stand at a pivotal moment in history. Our planet is in crisis. 7 of Earth's critical life support systems have been breached, and the cascading consequences of ecological breakdown threaten the foundations of life on this planet. The Arctic is melting, and we face a stark choice of either undergoing a whole systems transformation to heal the planet and refreeze the Arctic, or launching a nuclear world war to determine who controls the sea routes as the Arctic continues to melt. William Gibson pointed out that when you want to know how things really work, study them when they are coming apart. And that's what I've been doing for the past 2 decades as the Earth's life support systems break down and human civilization unravels. Here are a few of my findings. It's all connected. There is a logical line connecting the US threats to annex Canada and Greenland, the White House launching of the inverted food pyramid to promote the consumption of animal foods, and the White House ceremony extolling whole milk in schools. These are all symptoms of the industrial systems in our civilization desperately regressing to remain relevant. Just as lifestyle-related diseases in the human body mainly stem from misaligned habits, our planetary pathology and the unraveling of civilization mainly stem from industrial systems designed for exploitation and unsustainable consumption, disconnected from ecological realities. Modern engineering is founded on the false assumption of an infinite source for resources and an infinite sink for toxic waste in the form of planet Earth. This falsehood is now becoming glaringly obvious. We engineers have contributed a lot to the well-being of our human family. Thanks to our creations, almost everything about human life is better today, but at the expense of the environment. As for the environment, we engineers designed the football field-wide nets for bottom trawling that squeeze life out of the ocean, the tree-pulling bulldozers that raise down forests, and the body part disassembly lines to separate a cow into skin, organs, bones, and flesh. These technologies are now literally destroying the life support systems of our fragile planet. However, we engineers are also uniquely equipped to respond to this planetary emergency. Our discipline teaches us how to analyze complex systems, identify root causes, and synthesize innovative solutions. Now more than ever, the world needs that expertise. Enter Planet B. Planet B is not a destination elsewhere, but a vision for re-engineering this world. It is a call to redesign the systems that are pushing our planet beyond safe boundaries and to align human activity with the ecological principles that sustain life. Just as lifestyle medicine treats the underlying causes of disease rather than masking symptoms, Planet B applies this ethos to the biosphere by healing the planet through thoughtful design, prevention, and regeneration. I invite you to lend your skills, creativity, and courage to this mission. Whether your background is in civil, mechanical, electrical, software, or systems engineering, your insights are critical to building a sustainable, just, and thriving future. The transformation ahead will require reimagining our food systems, energy infrastructures, transportation networks, supply chains, living environments, and digital technologies. It will demand interdisciplinary collaboration, bold experimentation, and a shared commitment to ethical engineering in service of all life. The world doesn't need more extractive technologies or short-term fixes. It needs engineers who understand the stakes, who lead with compassion, who recognize that technical brilliance must be matched by moral clarity. Planet B offers a framework, a platform, and a community for making that vision real. So please reach out to me via email at srao@climatehealers.org to contribute to this greatest transformation in human history. Help heal the earth, help create Planet B. So this is a poem with a nod to 10 things I hate about you from Mother Earth. I hate the way you poison skies and drain my seas while whispering lies. I hate the way you cut my trees, ignoring birds and bees and breeze. I hate the way you hack away, chasing profit come what may. I hate your thirst for oil and gold, ignoring stories I've long told. I hate the pain you cause for gain, the fields you flood, the forests slain. I hate the ties that bind you blind to suffering of every kind. I hate your hunger never filled, the lands you raised, the lives you've killed. I hate the way you hide your heart. Forget you're of me, not a part. I hate your silence when I cry, the warming world, the species die. But most of all, I hate that I don't hate you, not even close, not even a little bit, not at all. Here's the truth that pulls me through. I love the spark that still burns in you. I see the light, I feel the fight, the urge to make the wrong things right. So rise, my child, begin anew. Heal me and you will heal you too. Let's get to work and together we will create the world of Planet B. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
The house is burning, but we're still sitting in the glow. Phones charged, lights on, pretending we don't know. But the forest is silent, the river's running low, and the flame on our plates is the strongest fire we throw. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is your hour. 7 boundaries broken, the earth pushed past the line. Climate, land, species, fresh water, chemicals, nutrients, oceans in decline. Not danger, disaster in real time. Put out the fire, ooh, put out the fire. Metafoodians rise, this is your power. And here in India, one truth stands the same. Milk is not just milk, dairy feeds the flame. Cows and methane, fields and forests turn to grain. Politics, culture, carbon, all wired to the same chain. Every cup of curd is heat in the air. Every block of butter is a forest repair. It's not a small habit, it's a planetary affair. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Echoes and rise, this is our hour. Energy fixes half the hurt, Dr. Rao made that clear. But food fixes the other half, the half that's burning here. Change the plate, change the land, change the future's atmosphere. Put out the fire, put out the fire. Metafoodians unite, this is your choir. Every millet, every fruit, every sapseed, every bean is water on the wildfire of a world we've never seen. Every oil-free bite is a river turning clean. This is not perfection, it's direction, not pressure, but for protection. A week of choices can cool a generation. A company's courage can ignite a nation. Put out the fire. Ooh, put out the fire. Echoes and rise. This is your hour. Metafoodians unite. Metafoodians ignite. Sharing love in the meta zone. Light in the path to a cooler home. Put out the fire.